Okay, so I've just made a template, basically like a song starter template. Basically, I've just got all the channels that I would use in most tracks. The whole point of this is to just eliminate repetitive things that I do in every single track, just to speed up my writing process. And so what I've got is on every channel, I've got basically a rack here with almost like my own custom channel strip. So the channel strip's the same on almost every channel. They've got a utility so that you can, automate gain and panning and stuff like that. I've got a channel EQ, which is probably a better EQ to use than an EQ8. It's just more of an emulation of like an analog EQ. It's more gentle and less prone to making sounds, really brittle and weak, and all the problems you get with like EQ8. Like if you boost high end on EQ8, you tend to get quite a harsh sound in there. So yeah, that's why the channel EQ is there. Super handy. You can just take out any rumble just by clicking that or bringing down the low cut here, the low shelf. And then I've got a saturator. By default, this is on almost every single channel except for the kick. So in the kick, I've turned off the saturator because you probably want your kick to sound super clean, but most other sounds could have just a little bit of saturation on them just to, bring a bit of life to the sound. But I mean, yeah, you can just turn them off if you don't want to use them. And then there's a sidechain compressor on almost all the channels except for the kick. And that's by default mapped to take audio from the kick, taking out the low end so you can get like a nice pointy shape to sidechain too. So all you need to do is just come in and adjust the threshold and the release. Yeah, so that's basically the same on almost all the channels. On the bass channel, sorry, not on the bass channel, on the sub channel, I've got an auto filter which is switched off. So you can turn it on and basically filter out the low end whenever you want to do that, because that's something I do pretty often. And the same thing on the kick channel, an auto filter to take out the low end. And yeah, then there's like the kick channel's got a drum rack on it. So I would advise just loading all your favorite kicks into it and then saving the template again. And maybe even doing the same with like clap. I don't have drum racks on these channels because I don't really like using drum racks for claps and hi-hats and stuff. And the reason for that is sometimes I like to change the pitch of them in the actual MIDI clip. So like I'll have a hat that is landing on, the note C, and then it goes down to D every once in a while. And if you're using a drum rack, you can't really do that in the MIDI. You'd have to transpose or something. Yeah, and then like the hi-hat group's got a bunch of channels for hi-hats. Perks has got shaker, top loop, tom, and then some miscellaneous. And what I've done with the tom here is I've loaded in a stock Ableton 808 tom sound, and I've just tuned it like perfectly to the note C. So if you now play, the note C on your keyboard, it's hitting the tom will hit C, and you don't have to worry about tuning your toms anymore. You can literally just go in and start sequencing them immediately. So that's like a huge workflow boost. And then that's it pretty much for all these channels. So yeah, it's simple. It's designed so that you still are being creative pretty much from the start, but all the technical repetitive stuff is already done for you. So this is going to be on my Patreon. So if you're a member there, then you'll get it for level 2 and up. And yeah, I'll see you next time.